Right, Lonnie?
I'll say it is recording. I'll be listening to you until I get to my destination. So if you guys need me for anything, by all means, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Joe.
Thank you. All right, so we will call the meeting to order at 6:32. Do the roll call for attendance.
Don Moran, here, aye.
Tim?
Mike Hardy, aye.
Thank you. Chief Kersey?
I'm here.
Linda?
Linda's here.
Eric Peterson? Okay. Mike Mandelier? Morris? All right, so we have our.
Hi, Joe. This is JP. I've just joined as well.
Thank you, JP.
Sorry, I'm late.
Okay. That's all right. We will now that we do with each of these. I'm getting wicked feedback.
Yeah, I think since JP joined, no?
Yes, that's correct. It wasn't happening before.
Oh, it went away. He just muted, I think.
Okay. All right. As a preliminary matter, this is Joe Cronin, Chairman of the Mendon Police Station Building Committee. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and you can hear me. Mary and Pete, can you hear us okay?
Yes. Affirmative.
Thank you. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. We just took care of that. Anticipated speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. That would be Mary and Pete.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Affirmative.
Thank you very much. Are there any others on the line who will be speaking? All right. If anyone should join during the meeting, please pause all discussions so we can determine the name and affiliation of the joining member. Don, at this point, I will turn it over to you for the introduction to the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. This open meeting of the Mendon Police Station Building Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth from the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The governor's order, which you can find posted along with the agenda materials for this meeting on the Town of Mendon website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will allow public comment. For this meeting, the Mendon Police Station Building Committee is convening by phone and Microsoft Teams, as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. And as we mentioned a moment earlier, this meeting is being recorded. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Don. The meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, please permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, as the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will invite committee members to provide any comments, questions, or motions. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking, and please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in discussion with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Finally, as we have done at the others, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted via roll call vote. And I assume that we will proceed as we have in the past meetings with Don making the motions and JP seconding them.
That works for me.
JP?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. All right. The first item on our agenda here is approval of meeting minutes, July 22nd, 2020, which I was meeting last week on Wednesday night. Dawn has sent around the meeting minutes to everybody. I trust that everybody has had an opportunity to read them.
So I move to approve meeting minutes, July 22nd, 2020.
Second.
Thank you all. Any comments or questions on the meeting minutes from July 22nd? All right, since there are none, we will do the roll call vote to approve the meeting minutes, excuse me. Don?
Don Moran, aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Thank you. Tim?
Aye.
Chief?
Aye.
JP?
Aye.
Thank you all very much. All right. We will move on to open action items on the decisions and action log. First item on there is the transfer of the generator lease to the town with Chief Kersey.
That's all taken care of. I continue the same price until we need it. They said buy it. It would be worth it. Would be feasible. So
I'm having a hard time. Can everyone else hear him okay?
I couldn't either.
No.
I could not hear.
Can you hear me? Now?
You're all broken up.
Gotta love cell coverage in Mendon, huh?
No,
Can you hear me now?
still the same, David.
Move again. All right. How about now?
Much better.
Okay. So the generator, we're just going to continue with the lease. They're going to give us the same rate, $650 a month. I'm going to try to take some of it out of our development grant as we need it. To purchase one when it makes sense, they said that one's probably around $40,000. So the town really wouldn't have a use for a generator like that afterwards.
Okay. Don, are you all set with that? Were you able to get all that?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, moving right along. The town well pressure switch and pump replacement. Don?
So there's been good progress on that front. So Dan Byer has arranged to have the elevator company come in on Thursday to remove the hydraulic pump underneath in the mechanical room for the elevator. That'll give them room to work on the well on Friday morning. So on Friday morning at 7 a.m., McClure Engineering is coming in to replace the pump in the town's well. Kim has been notified, Chief Kersey has been notified that there'll be no water on Town Hall campus for Friday. I'm not sure how long the work will take, but as of 7 a.m. Friday, there will be no water on Town Hall campus. Hopefully it'll come back sometime later in the day when the pump is successfully installed. The ratings on the pump, essentially they're putting in a 10-gallon per minute variable speed pump with a transducer instead of a pressure switch, because originally GGD wanted us to replace the pressure switch so they could put in a 60 PSI plus or minus with a 15 PSI differential. This transducer will be fully programmable, so it can be pretty much programmed to whatever pressure we want. So this has been shared with GGD, and Pete, who's online, just shared a last-minute update on that from GGD. If I got an email from Pete at 6:17 and I forwarded it on. Basically, they covered two items. The second item was really, they didn't see any issue with a 10-gallon per minute pump and transducer. It'll be an improvement. They asked what will the pressure settings be, and from our perspective, I thought we were going to go to the recommended setting that GGD recommended, but I don't know. I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman. Is that the right thing, or should we let the well company decide that?
What I would do, I think, Don, is I would take this email and I would forward it to Dan Byer, and maybe highlight the delivery pressure of 60 psi, and ask him if that's what they were shooting for.
Will do. Thank you.
Very much. Mary, do we have any? Go ahead, Mary.
This is for Pete, or maybe even Tower. Is there anything on our side that needs to be shut off? Is there anything that's going to try to draw while that well is out of system?
I sent the email to Tower, so they've been notified.
Okay.
I will confirm that. Yeah, I will confirm that they're all set.
Yeah, I'll call Patrick too. I just don't want anything to burn out.
What they may want to do is shut off the valve on the line coming into the new facility, just so they don't drain the stuff out and they don't get filled up with any sediment or anything that may get drawn on it when the pump is first started.
Yep, I'll talk to Patrick in the morning.
Thank you, Mary. All right, any other comments or questions on the well pressure switch and pump replacement? All right. Moving right along, COVID-19 expense reimbursement. Don?
So last Wednesday, we discussed the change proposal from Tower, originally around $58,000. KBA sent back a bunch of questions. Tower came back and basically didn't reduce it much at all. So I took the action last Wednesday to meet with town council and the town administrator, which I did last Thursday. So I met with them around the middle of the day, shared the information from Tower, and then took an action to scrub it based on all the questions that we had come up with. The labor rates, the number of hours, the number of days, all that stuff. So I did that and sent them a revised number late on Thursday. Unfortunately, they were both on vacation Friday, so they got back on yesterday. They looked over everything yesterday. We sent some emails back and forth, and we have a follow-up meeting tomorrow. So I'm meeting again with town council and the town administrator tomorrow at noon to try to finalize and get some direction from town council. Our hope and our plan is to finalize a recommendation for the select board that we can then take to the select board at their meeting next Tuesday night. So the select board is posting a meeting on Tuesday, and this will be on the agenda for a discussion. It's not clear if it's going to be an open session. It may be a executive session discussion per town council's recommendation, but I'm going to let them decide that tomorrow. But hopefully coming out of the select board meeting next Tuesday night, we'll have a decision from them on which way to go.
Very good. Thank you, Don. Does anybody have any questions for Don regarding the COVID-19 expense reimbursement?
This is Pete. I don't have a question. I just have a comment. Speaking with Tower, Patrick, they would like to settle this out of court, so I think that would work for all parties.
Absolutely, the town is of the same opinion. So hopefully we can come to a mutual agreement on how we can close this. Again, but it really is more than the building committee's purview. We really need the select board to make that decision. So we do need until next Tuesday night, which is their next posted meeting, unfortunately.
So Patrick has also asked for a meeting to have a face-to-face review of it so that everyone's on the same page.
We can, but I don't think we can do it until after we get some direction from the select board, because I can't tell him what the town is ready,
Yeah, exactly.
So after next Tuesday, I hope to have, I'm hoping after tomorrow's meeting, we have a proposal that we're going to bring to the select board that they can take a motion and approve, so we can walk out of there Tuesday night with something that we can actually just send over to you on Wednesday. And then we can have any discussion after that, you know. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, moving along. Status of conference room furniture. Chief Kersey? Chief? Did we lose the chief?
Hold on, Joe. We had to move around again. Our reception's absolutely horrendous. What was that last thing you guys? I heard what was that they were talking about? Yeah, we're losing. We keep losing. We're trying to walk around.
Okay. No, the next item, Chief, is the status of the conference room furniture.
Yep. We're all set with that. I ended up getting that on a dispatch expenses, so we outfitted that, so we can drop that off the line item because we have that. Okay. We've taken that over with the police department.
Very good, thank you. And we have you standing in the right spot there. The placement of the Mantoni Memorial.
Same thing. We're just kind of waiting to see when Tower gets out of there, and I want to get that in there. I mean, obviously we can't do a showing or anything for it because of COVID, but I'm going to kind of just quietly put it there once they move out and the building's kind of operational.
Okay. And then the next item, the plans for the rings and the storyboard from the Historical Commission. Don, I thought I saw an email on that.
Yeah, so I did have a exchange with Kathy Schofield. So she has walked the site. She actually walked the site yesterday. They're not sure where they want to put it's basically what they have is they have a storyboard that explains the history of those rings where they tied horses up so that they could weigh hay bales up on a scale. Actually, at one point used to be between the town hall and the former library, and then got moved over to its location where it was recently. They're not sure they want to put it there. They're thinking they may want to wait and put it somewhere over near the town hall when they do the rest of the site work. So it's really in their court at this point. They have not had a decision yet. Chief Kersey has reached out to them and said, if you want to walk it and have some discussion, he's willing to do so. So it's really in their court at this point. So no action for us. I'll just keep this on the back burner, but it's really just wait for them to get back with their decision.
Okay.
Don, can I ask a silly question? How old does Kathy think these are? This is modern concrete.
No, I understand that. She actually has, she worked with, who did she work with? Dick Grady, who has some historical information on them. He has what he wants. He's actually written up a story about them. How they used to weigh the hay bales over near the Taft Library, and then one day some out of control carriage came down and ruined the scales and knocked everything over. And he's got a nice little story. I haven't seen the final version yet, but a nice little storyboard just to go along with it, just to say the history of what used to happen and how they used to tie the horses up. But that's all.
Okay. It was just curious, No, I know Dick pretty well. I can't wait to see the story.
Yep, he's got it all written up. I know Kathy was in touch with Karen Mullen to try to make a nice little storyboard, like picture board up with it. So it's going to take them some time. So I think this is actually just going to be passed on to them. We'll probably be done with the project and complete, and then they'll decide what to do sometime in the future. So I'm not sure if we need to talk about this too much further, but I'll just carry it, Joe, we can just put it on here as a post-project type thing.
I was going to say maybe post-project just so we don't lose it, but that is, we don't have to hit it every day either.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. And the other post-project item we won't discuss tonight, salvaging the LED lighting from the existing police station. Obviously, those stories off in the future. So, all right, moving along. Mary, the OPM update, please.
So we are moving along with the punch list. Pete has been updating the punch list weekly. We'll do it again this Thursday. Tower has been responsive to all the requests. The painter is constantly an issue. Tower has taken on a lot of the painting themselves. We walked the building with Chief Kersey and Tower and Pete last week and pointed out the major areas of concern, the public areas, and where the officers would be doing the most time in the halls and coming through. So some of the areas were worse than others, and so they are going back after that. We'll see that on Thursday. Closeout documents, we have attic stock upstairs. I have to go through an inventory of that with Mike, and the documents are coming in from Maribel, and there's still a couple more trainings we need that are coming through. So they seem to be wrapping up pretty good. The one caveat will be the landscaping. They're going to have to come back in the fall.
Mary, is there a list of attic stock that's owed?
I don't know if there's a schedule, but there's a percentage of each item. So I may have to go through and see if there's a schedule, and then see what's up there. My biggest concern is always the paint schedules.
Excuse me, Mary. The specification calls out in each spec section how much attic stock is to be provided. If any, some don't get attic stock. So we usually have our spec writer do a search for attic stock or extra materials, however it's written down, and then we can get the full list.
That'd be awesome.
I'll have Tracy do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Pete, could we get a copy of that list sooner than later from Mary? That'll make her life an awful lot easier. Okay. Thank you. All right, Mary, anything else on your end?
No, I think that's it. Pete will address the condensation issue. I think that's the biggest concern, other than the landscaping. But Tower did not push back at all when Pete and I told them it wasn't acceptable. You know, they understand the situation. So I think we're in good shape.
All right, Pete, we'll pass it over to you. Moving on to the architect update.
Okay, so the 3/4 inch to 2 inch water pipe concern, I sent that out right before the meeting to Don, and he sent it along to everyone. And basically, there is no issue according to GGD. Everyone can read it, and then if you got questions, we can ask GGD.
All right. Well, I think, once it gets replaced in Friday, we're able to check the operation of the systems and test things and run other faucets or showers and so on at the same time. We'll see how that all works out.
Okay. Next item is change order number 14. It's still in preliminary phase. And we have number 68, which is still under review, and number 70, which Tower has not submitted yet. And that's for a credit for the generator removal. The other ones, I've added more information per the building committee's request. I'm not sure if anyone got a chance to go through it all, but it's still in preliminary phase. So,
yeah, the only last week we had a question on number 65, which was the programming and the dialer change, and apparently there is no corresponding credit. Apparently they did all the work, so that is the number.
The contract work, yeah.
Correct.
So that email from GGD is now within that COP response.
Right. And then the other one was just number 69. It says add electrical. It's really adding data to the fingerprint machine.
Yeah.
And last week, Mary suggested Chief Kersey reach out to World Band and see if that's something they might be able to do. I don't know if Chief had a chance to do that.
Can you hear me? I spoke with Lonnie briefly, so we're going to see. I imagine they can do it a lot cheaper. That price seems ridiculous.
So their pricing is including the painting and patching, which may not be any. They're saying it's an allowance. So I'm not quite sure how they come up with the numbers, but.
Hi, I am here. If I just heard briefly what you were asking, I can maybe elaborate if you can repeat the question.
Well, the question is about adding that data line to the fingerprint machine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'll take care of that, and we'll just do it in the in the cost of what we're already doing. If it's just one data line, we'll definitely handle that for you.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Anything else on change order 14 that needs to be discussed at this point in time? All right. Pete, you want to move on to the punch list?
So the punch list I sent out earlier this afternoon, the update with the monetized numbers from KBA. I was awaiting the monetized numbers from GGD for the civil, MEP, and FP, and I got that now, so I can resubmit that tomorrow with a monetized number.
Okay. Now, I was looking through the punch list a little while ago. I noticed that there are a lot of card readers not installed in there. Can someone enlighten me a little bit on that?
So what happened is we had a lot of card readers in the contract, and the budget was too high for Signet's number coming in. So we did a VE, and we reduced a lot of them, or removed a lot of the card readers, I should say. So since MV owned the piping in the box, we had to get blank cover plates put on. So Signet actually has put on the cover plates. There was a fight between MV and Signet who owned it. They both said they didn't own it. Signet did put them all on. And the thing is GGD's punch list came out before that happened. So when GGD does a back punch, they can remove them all.
Okay. I figured there was some story behind it. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions for Pete on the punch list? Obviously, it's a work in progress. Okay. Pete, affidavit.
Affidavits, I've sent them all out. I saw an email this afternoon that Don forwarded them on to the committee. So I don't know if there's any questions on that.
Does anybody have any questions for Pete regarding the affidavits?
Right. Joe, this is Don. I think I'm getting an echo. Okay. I just wanted to make sure they're all there. This is the complete list. We have them all, and this is now closed. Is that correct?
I think we would need Tim to weigh in on that and make sure he has everything that he needs. Tim, can you verify?
I'm not sure if I have all the affidavits. I can check on that in the morning.
If you would, please. Thank you.
Okay, next item is the temp certificate of occupancy, status, and the copy of the signed building permit. So now that all the affidavits are in, the inspectors could sign the permit.
Now that we think all the affidavits are in, yes.
Say that again?
Now that we think all the affidavits are in, pending checking.
Right. So does somebody have copies of them, and is that why he's making that statement?
They were emailed around earlier this afternoon, Tim.
Oh, okay. So I haven't seen them yet. So all the final affidavits were emails. Is that what you're saying?
The final construction affidavits, yes, from structural, mechanical, electrical, fire protection, civil, landscape, architecture.
But not plumbing, right? Not
and plumbing, correct. And plumbing.
Okay. All right.
I
did have a
about the
I
water
had a
pressure.
conversation with the plumbing inspector, and he was okay with issuing a temporary TCO. What is the schedule with this variable speed pump? When's it going in? This Friday or next Friday?
This Friday, Tim. This Friday at 7 a.m.
Okay. All right. So hopefully that does the trick. But he's okay with that. I had a conversation with him before the meeting, so we can definitely do we can do the TC. I mean, do you need the TCO before the water's before the well is upgraded? Or do you want to just go for a final? Is that like the main item? Is the water, or what else would be holding it up on the committee's end? Anything?
So my concern, Tim, this is Mary. If we're gonna know the well in a couple days, what's the rush?
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. Do we need a TCO for any particular reason? I mean, we can do it. But if the well's going to be worked on,
we can put pending the well.
Well, that would be the condition. There'll be a condition listed on the TCO. What I'm asking is there any other conditions that need to be addressed? I'm assuming not, if we have all the control construction affidavits.
The only other big issue hanging around out there right now is the issue with the condensation in both the existing fire station half of the building and in the new half of the building.
Oh. Okay, so do we have dehumidifiers going in there? No?
No.
Why not? Huh? No, I mean portable dehumidifiers.
So this is Pete. Last Thursday at the job meeting, the existing building renovation portion did not have any condensation. All the condensation was in the addition, the new portion. So on Thursday, GGD is meeting with Seekonk Heating and Tower Construction to go through the controls and adjustment of the condensate in the chilled water lines to set them to get this to work. So now that the contractors aren't going in and out and bringing the humid air in, it's a little bit easier to control. And, they got to get it dialed down.
Yeah, it's a little bit better, Pete, but Mike had said that it was at 70 when we were there last week. Then what he did, I think he put it down to like 68, and he left it there over the weekend and no one in it. And when he came in, the condensation was back in the existing building.
Mm.
Okay.
Well, you can't keep blowing that amount of, keep the thing running and running and running. It's not going to take the condensation out of the building. It can run and get the temperature down, but it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I think that's
so they're going to
the meeting on Thursday of this week with Clara, the HVAC system installer, and the HVAC design engineer.
Yeah, that's the thing to do. Yep.
Yes.
So I think the question on the table is, since the meeting on Thursday to go through all the controls with the chilled water and condensate, and since we have the pump company coming out Friday, why do a TCO tomorrow if we're hoping to resolve these things in the next 3 days? I think Tim's asking, should we just plan to do a full certificate of occupancy next week, hoping these two things are resolved by the end of this week? I think that's what Tim's asking the committee.
I mean, that would make sense to me.
I mean, as long as it's not costing us anything extra to wait, I mean, I guess it's up to you. I mean, if it's going to cost us money to hold on and not issue the CO, then why don't we just wait a little bit? So my question, you said the mechanical guy signed off already?
We have his affidavit, yes. We have the affidavit, yes.
So he ran through the system with the contractor?
We do not have any commissioning on this project, if that's what you're alerting to.
Okay, well, I mean, I would think before he issued his affidavit, they would have balanced out his controls and everything, right?
Yeah. So back when the affidavit was issued, we did not have any issues for condensation because we didn't have the heat wave.
All right.
So once we get the testing and balancing report, that's the last thing he looks for before he signs his affidavit.
When's this going to happen? When's he going to balance, did you say?
The testing and balances is already done. It's already been signed off.
So
on Thursday morning, they're going back to look at the condensation, the chilled water lines.
Yeah. All right. So we can do whatever you want to do. If, as a committee, if someone wants to make a motion one way or the other, just it's up to you guys.
So this is Mary. I don't think we're am I repeating her? I know I'm getting back these. I don't think we're causing any harm to Tower if we wait a couple days to see how it works once the well's on board.
Okay.
That's we're paying the requisition. We gave them the substantial completion. We haven't held back on any of their triggers.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, this is Don. We've been meeting every week, so we can certainly meet next week and make a motion to do a full, certificate of occupancy, assuming everybody is okay with what transpires Thursday and Friday of this week.
Yeah.
Pete, am I missing anything here?
Well, the TCFO or the CO only states that the owner can move into the building.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right. So no matter which one we get, if it's a TCO, then that's usually a 15, 30, or 60 day before whatever issues have to get resolved. Or if it's a CO, then they can move in immediately. So if we wait till next week, that's fine.
Yeah. You can't move in anyway.
No issue.
Because
exactly.
I know the water issue is not is not theirs.
And the condensation doesn't have to do it either, but it could be. But we need
yeah. One issue that I would throw back at them is we still don't have the permanent cores, right? So if you move into the building, if you move into the building, then you can't lock it up.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make sense either.
Yeah, that's an issue. All right, so it sounds like the best bet for everybody's interest here is to hold off a few days and see if these outstanding issues get resolved, and then we'll be able to move forward from there.
So do we need a motion?
We can certainly leave a motion, certainly if someone would like to make one.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to, at our next building committee meeting next week, I don't know what the date is going to be, to review the issuance of the certificate of occupancy or a TCO at the next week's meeting.
Do we want to align that to the Board of Selectmen meeting? When is that? Do we want to do it before or after that, or does it matter?
I believe Don said the Board of Selectmen's meeting is next Tuesday night.
That is correct. But I don't think we need them at anything for the certificate of occupancy,
No.
right?
No, I just
No,
thought
the
we
only-
could all these at once.
Yeah, I don't really think we need to have a motion to do this. We'll just put it on the agenda.
All right, so
That's fine.
the certificate's going to be issued probably Monday anyway, as long as this, everything goes okay, this week. I don't know about the cylinders. What's the deal with the cylinders? That's the first time I heard that.
So cores can only be mailed to the chief. We're waiting for them to come in, as far as I know, and then they'll get installed.
Have they been shipped? No.
We've been told they are. They've asked if the chief has received them. I can ask for a purchase order.
Well, the building has to be secured before you can get a CO, so you have to be able to secure it. So, I guess we'll have to find out that this week.
Yeah, we've been locking the outside doors. Maybe those are construction fees, construction clothes they have in there.
Correct.
So yeah, we'll have to get those. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fine. As long as all the keys are returned.
Well, that's why in a police station or public safety, the cores are only delivered to the department.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so I think we have 3 items that need to be closed. We really need to have the water, the condensation, and the cores. We really need all of them because, I mean, it doesn't make sense for the police to move in until all those are resolved. So,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, those are minor items.
Okay. John, along those lines, were you ever able to get an answer out of Kim who would sign that substantial completion form?
should we ask Tim that question?
Sure.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Tim, last week there was a form that came to us that KBA had produced that the town needs to sign off on substantial completion. Was that what it was, Pete?
No, they need to sign the building permit. Each
card?
inspector needs to sign off on the building permit card, correct?
Okay,
Right,
so,
but that was part of the package with the affidavit that went for the substantial completion document, correct?
Are you asking me, Joe?
Yes, I am, Pete. Yep.
Okay,
You have
yeah,
the
so,
document.
so typically, the building inspectors and whatever, plumbing inspector, electrical inspector, they go through the building, they see everything they want to do. Either they sign off or they wait for the engineer to issue the final construction affidavit, then they sign off. Now we have all the final construction affidavits, so each inspector can now sign
who
off.
has the card?
Unless
Who has the card?
Mike has the card. The
Okay, I'm gonna need
superintendent
the
carries the card.
So, why don't you have them drop it off at the building department?
Well,
And
Yeah, I sent it with the certificate of substantial completion.
the card?
But I'll have Mike drop it off.
Okay, yeah, and then I'll put it together and, with the email, with all the certificate, all the affidavits, and then I will get the inspectors to sign it. I'll take a copy of it and I'll give you the original for your records, for whoever's, or Tower's records, as far as the card.
Yeah, I just need a PDF, that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we're all set on that then?
I just don't know if we got an answer to your question, Joe. So on the
We didn't.
G704 certificate of substantial completion form has Joe Cronin listed as the person to sign on on behalf of the town. Is that correct? Is Joe's question?
And that's
Who
what
you
we're
asked?
trying to get an answer from Kim on that.
Okay. From
Or
who?
should it be Kim? Kim with a K,
Oh, okay.
or should it be Tim who's going to, or the selectman? We don't know. And that's what we were trying to find out.
I would think it would be someone from the committee, no?
That's
Yeah.
what
Well, I
Powell,
think
yeah,
that's
that's what
fine.
KBA said, but
I think
Well,
Joe.
On the other 11 police stations that I've worked on in the last 4 years, it's always been the building committee chair.
Yeah,
But,
okay.
I mean,
What
that makes
about
sense.
if you want the building inspector, that's fine.
Well, I think we should just do it at a meeting and make a motion to have him sign it, and do it that way. And Joe, I think Joe should sign it. After we all agree that everything's completed.
I'm good with that, Tim.
Yeah, their obligations have been completed, you know?
Okay. Moving on, we discussed the condensation issues. That will be addressed hopefully on Thursday morning when GGD is on site. Last bullet point there is the lack of audio in the lobby and booking area.
Okay, so Signet still has to install those mics for the audio into the cameras that have already been installed. So Signet is meeting with the chief on Thursday, and I believe it was noon, Chief, that you guys finalized? Okay.
Yep.
So at noon, Signet will be installing the mics for the audio in the lobby and the booking areas, and they will also be addressing the punch list. Signet has sent along their O&M manual today. I will take a look at it and get it out to you guys.
Okay. Chief, are you all set with that?
Yes, I'm meeting them Thursday.
All right, thank you. Pete, is there anything else that you want to add to the list here?
I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you. All right, invoice approvals, chair OPM spending approvals. We have not spent anything, and I do not believe there have been any invoices that have come in the past week.
That's correct.
Thank you. Items not reasonably anticipated 48 hours prior to the meeting. I do not have anything. Does anybody else have anything?
So, Mr. Chairman, this is John. The only thing, oh, getting feedback again. The only thing that I had was the landscaping, and I think Mary has already addressed it when the Historic Commission was on site yesterday. Kathy Schofield, who happens to be a landscape architect, noticed that a couple of the trees were wilting, and she was afraid they were going to die because no one has watered them. So I forwarded that over to Pete and Mary, and they will address it with the contractor.
Pete, do you know if there's anything in the specifications about the watering bags for the tree? Is that a requirement?
Yes.
Do they have them there?
There's a whole maintenance program that they have to do. So we have not accepted the trees, plantings, and lawn. We wait until next year. It's got to go through the winter. So next spring we'll come out and we'll review everything. And if anything is dead, then they have to replace it. And for the lawns, usually they have to do some slice seeding, some fertilizing, you know, whatever is required to get the lawn up and going. Hopefully they come back in mid-August to early September and give the lawn whatever it needs to get it back into reality, because it's pretty weedy and burnt right now. But yeah, the trees and plantings, they own to water and maintain them. And the lawn cannot be accepted until they've mowed it 5 times. And I don't think they've mowed it at all yet.
How about all the crabgrass that we saw there a few weeks ago? Has anything been done about all that?
Yeah, they either got to pull it or kill it, and then, you know, rehydroseed those areas.
Right, but have they done anything with it yet, or they just let it go?
No, I think they just kind of gave up. I've seen the guy watering by hand a couple times that I've been out there, but I don't see like sprinklers, water cannons. I don't see any water trucks, anything around there.
He needs a water truck. The well couldn't operate the sprinklers. He needs a water truck. So he's gonna have to start over in the fall.
Yeah, but so, I mean, the spec doesn't say you can use the owner's water, so they own their own water, which they didn't use.
This was part of the pressure issue. They tried to use sprinklers off the building, and that didn't work. So they own bringing in water somehow.
Yes.
Okay, I assume, I'd have to go back and look at the punch list, but I would assume this was a fairly significant item attached to the landscape issues.
Yes, yes, I sent Tower an email today once I got the email from Don, putting them on notice.
Okay. All right, next meeting, date, time, and agenda. As we discussed with a few things here earlier this evening, it makes sense to have a meeting again next week. Does everybody want to do Tuesday night, or would they prefer going back to the Wednesday?
I'll be at the select board at Tuesday, I think, so will Chief and potentially Tim, so.
All right, so let's shoot for Wednesday. Does Wednesday work for everybody?
This is JP. I'm out of town. I don't know whether I'll be able to join. I'm assuming I won't.
Okay, thank you, JP. Miriam, Pete, does Wednesday work for you?
It works for me, and maybe we can reach out to some of the people that couldn't make it tonight for the call-in to cover for JP. So we have a
We
quorum.
can do that. Yep. Pete?
Yes, hopefully we have a rec by then as well.
Okay. So next Wednesday night at 6:30?
Sounds good.
All right, we need someone to make that final motion, since Eric is not here this evening.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you all very much, and we will talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night. Thank you.